Okay, welcome. Welcome, Arielle.
Thanks for having me, Sharon.
Yes, thank you for joining us on the summit to reduce our anxiety. Really appreciate it,
It's a very important topic.
especially now, right?
hmm
Gosh, really, really grateful that you're here. So everyone at home, Arielle Jacobs not only is one of my favorite people on the planet, she's a Broadway actress. And she was most recently starring as Princess Jasmine in Disney's Aladdin on Broadway, which is just so remarkable. I've known Ariel for about 10 years and I've just seen her skyrocket and become a star, and it just could not have happened to a nicer person. So
Thank you.
really so happy to reconnect today. Um, she's also, I know Broadway is closed right now, of course, but she's going to be the lead in an upcoming musical when Broadway reopens. It's called Between the Lines. And do you want to
hmm
talk about that at all? Are you excited
But
about
yes, Between the Lines
that?
is a new musical based on a book written by Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer. Jodi Picoult has written, oh my gosh, 30 best-selling books. She's incredible. Her new book just came out like last week. And it's about a young girl who is having a really hard time at home and at school. And she's having a lot of anxiety, panic attacks, and things. And she's getting bullied, and she escapes her life by reading fairy tales, by reading books, because in books she can, be in the world that she wants to be in. And then one of the characters in her favorite book, she makes this wish that he would come to life because he's a prince and he's really cute and she wants him to save her from her horrible life. And then her wish comes true. And he actually comes to life in the book and they have a relationship with each other. And you'll have to see what happens after that. But basically, there's a lot of stuff that ensues, and she wants to be with him and he wants to be with her, but she eventually has to figure out how to write her own story and be in charge of her life and how she views her world and how to write it her way. And it's
Oh,
great. It's actually because it's an all female writing team. It's a female, based on a book by Jodi Picoult and her daughter. It's a mother daughter story as well. The main relationship not only between my character and the prince in the book is the relationship between me and my mother on stage, and she's a single mom, so having that relationship played out in a show I don't think has ever really been seen. um, and we have an incredible female producer, legend producer, Daryl Roth, producing our show. So I mean, the women who are making this happen and all of the power that's on stage and around the show is really incredible.
that's amazing. Beautiful. So between the
hmm
lines. Okay, I'll definitely put it on my list. Or
Yes. I premiered one of the songs actually at Broadway Con last year, and you can find it on YouTube. It was called
okay.
A Whole New Story.
Oh, beautiful. Love it. That's so great. Um, so a little bit more about Arielle. She made her Broadway debut in 2011, starring opposite Lin-Manuel Miranda in the award-winning musical In the Heights. What was that like?
That was so great. And they're making a movie of it right now. And In the Heights was one of those shows that just like crawled into your heart and made you excited to hug your family and excited to figure out more about where you came from, because it's all about family and your ancestors and the legacies that your ancestors gave to you and culture. So I had never been so excited to find out more about where I come from. My mom is from the Philippines. She was born in Japan, but she's Filipino and like came to the U.S. from the Philippines when she was 12. So it was the first thing that I'd ever done where I felt like I want to learn so much more about my history and my family's history. yeah, I got to do that. I did the national tour. I also did it in Japan, in Tokyo, and then I got to close the show on Broadway with most of the original Broadway cast.
Oh, that's so exciting. And as your debut, wow.
Yes, as my debut, starring in this incredible show. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, how amazing. And since then, she's also starred in Wicked, which was my personal favorite. Also in Rent and Disney's High School Musical, as well as Into the Woods.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
Yes.
All right. Well, so please tell us about a time in your life when you felt a lot of uncertainty and anxiety. And how did you move through that powerfully?
Well, I was my one of the biggest challenges I've ever gone through was after it was actually after my Broadway debut, after In the Heights happened. Um, I I went after that show ended. I was in the process of workshopping another brand new musical that we were in rehearsals, and about a week before the first performance, my I woke up one day and I went to rehearsal. About an hour into rehearsal, I started feeling like my mouth wasn't moving right, and I wasn't sure what was going on, and my friends were noticing it too. And I didn't really think about it much or what it was happening. I was like, I don't know what this is. So, but I went home, and my sister-in-law was like, "Okay, you need to go to the doctor because I don't know what this is." But I realized like I would try to like pucker my lips, and only one side of my mouth was moving. Um, so I went to the doctor the next day, and they said I had Bell's palsy. So half of my face was paralyzed, and it's something that happens randomly to people. And normally it happens later in life, but the doctor, he was like, I think usually these things go away on their own. So, like, give it 2 weeks. I'm going to put you on some steroids, but give it 2 weeks and your face will come back. So, I didn't have an understudy in this show I had to do. So, I had to do this performance, and I had to half of my face was frozen, and like the other, basically I was like a little bit like I it looked like I might have had a stroke or something. So like this side is kind of down, and then this side is talking, and then this eye isn't blinking, and this eye is blinking, and it was so. It felt not only like I was not able to express myself because you can't really. Um, I was a little embarrassed because I felt like I want to give my best performance, and these people don't know what I'm capable of. There were some people who saw the show who didn't know I had ever been on Broadway, and they didn't even know I was an actor because I was still pretty new in the business. But they thought they're like, "Oh, look, they hired somebody with a disability, and that's really nice that they did that." And that was just something that they assumed I was born like that. And so they didn't know my history as an actor either. So it was this, I kind of wanted this show to be a jumping off point, and instead I felt like I wasn't able to do my best. That was the first hurdle. The second hurdle was that after 2 weeks, my face didn't come back. My muscles didn't come back. So after 3 weeks, they didn't come back. After a month, they didn't come back. And after 2 months, they didn't come back.
And you were
So,
performing that whole time?
no. So the show was a very short run, and it had ended. I went back to LA where I was living at the time, and basically I was a hermit, and I stayed in my apartment. Um, and I prayed a lot. I breathed a lot. But I also didn't know if my career was over. I wasn't sure if I was ever going to get to perform again. And after that long of a time, I really what I missed most was being able to connect with people through joy. I missed being able to smile. I missed being able to express my joy, and I felt like it had been taken away from me. I felt like it was like I had I was in a prison because I couldn't express myself. And as an actor, I couldn't express myself, but as a person, I couldn't express myself. So it was very, very challenging for me. Um, and what I did to move through that was I let go. I had to let go of the attachment that I had to a career that I wanted. I had to let go to any attachment of not only the career I wanted, but I had to really accept that that could be my life. That could be my future because at the time, after my face didn't reawaken after 2 or 3 weeks, I was told that there are people who get this Bell's palsy and they have permanent paralysis on their face for their whole life. So that was a possibility for me. And yes, so I did a lot of breathing and meditating. I did a lot of what I considered like sound healing. Like I played, I played the Tibetan singing bowls and I would like place them on my body. I was trying to wake up my senses. Um, and one day my face didn't come back like that, but it did. I felt like the slightest millimeter of movement at the corner of my mouth. So I had hope. And slowly, because nerves, they know that the Bell's palsy is like compression of a nerve, so it can't send the signals to your facial muscles to move. So the nerve has to heal itself, and regenerating nerves are the slowest thing to heal in your whole body.
Yeah.
So it was a very slow process, but it did come back after like 3 months. My face came back. It's still not 100%. It's actually not. A lot of people can't see that I do have uh, a little bit of leftover stuff, like um, frozenness on the right side of my face. It doesn't move as freely as the left, but I can get by in my acting and performing, and I actually found so much joy again to perform,
Mm.
which I had lost. I right before this happened, I was so stressed. I
Mm.
was so not wanting to audition. It still stresses me sometimes to audition, but I'll get to that. We'll talk about that later. um, but the idea of pursuing this and performing was really, I wasn't grateful for it at the time, and it was something that when it got taken away from me, then I really started to miss it.
Isn't that the way, right? You take it for granted until it's taken away from you.
Hmm.
And then how describe that moment of it coming back to you now and you're able to audition
It was a well when my face did start to wake up, it was such a slow process, right? It was over a month of um, the nerve healing itself and my face coming back, and I was nervous. I was excited and scared, right, to go back to auditioning because by that time I had been out of it for several months, and I also didn't know if the at the time I thought maybe my muscles would wake up fully, and I didn't know how long that was going to take. Now, maybe like the last 5 or 3% they didn't come back, but I didn't know. I was also not aware of some of the side effects as they were occurring. Like my right eye wasn't blinking, but my left eye did blink like normal.
it.
So in an audition, if a camera's right here and only one eye is blinking, then they're going to notice even if I don't. So there was that worry that how do I go in there and be natural and be real while I'm worried about my eyes not more working right. So so there was that, and it actually took several months, maybe a year before I actually felt comfortable. Maybe two. It took several years before I felt like I don't have to worry about that. I just need to be myself and focus on the performance.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right. Oh, I didn't know this. I didn't know this happened. So this is news to me too.
Yeah.
I'm blown away. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
And it's still in the back of my mind because they say that if you have had Bell's palsy and you get over it, that there is like a 10% chance it could return.
Hmm.
So I get nervous sometimes when I feel like a stiffness in my face or something.
Do you have some kind of like face yoga and rehab
I
exercises?
mean, I not really because I do a lot of that in my vocal warm-ups. I
Yeah.
do a lot of like waking up the face and
Yeah.
stretching the muscles of the face.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
Wow. Sister. Oh,
Mm.
my heart goes. Oh man. Oh. So so how was it that this extremely painful experience, not just that it's ruined your career, but it could like ruin, just your expression in
Hmm.
any career, just with people in general,
Hmm.
and your everything, the way you look, the way people perceive you. I mean, there's so many layers here of anxiety and uncertainty and grief, right?
Grief,
To
yeah.
let you go. Yeah. Um, I'm just curious, do you find that you're now stronger because of this experience? And if so, can you tell us more about
Hmm. I definitely feel like I'm stronger because that happened. I feel like it gave me a new awareness and perspective on how I approach doing what I love, for sure. And it gave me, it required me at the time because I couldn't share my expression with people and I couldn't share my joy and my happiness with people. It did require me at the time to try to cultivate it inside myself requiring um, without requiring the need to have that outside reflection, which is so important. And I still, everyone loves that. And I still love that. And it feels so good to get that. But to know that you're worthy without it, to know that you are enough, regardless of whether you get the reflection or not. And it also just made me grateful for when things are working. You know how a lot of people maybe it's just me, but I if I'm healthy, I don't think about it. It's when you're sick that you're like, gosh, I just want to be healthy. And I think that this had the same experience for me because I had never. It's kind of like right now with everyone, with the quarantine, people want to go out and live their lives, and you don't realize what you would miss until it's taken away. I miss going to restaurants with friends. I miss like meeting a friend in a park and getting a nice coffee. I just miss the connection, and now that it's gone, it's it's revealing.
And as you said, it's inviting us to, since we can't experience the joy outside of us, it's an invitation to cultivate that joy within us.
Exactly. And also it actually reframed my idea of beauty because I've been on the stage for so long, and there's an idea of what people think is beautiful, not just on stage and in magazines and on TV, not just that, but just walking down the street, and how my mom doesn't leave her house without putting makeup on. And suddenly my face being paralyzed on one side, I didn't want to touch my face with makeup. I felt like there was nothing to beautify. I felt like, well, what am I going to do with this? Um,
Mm.
it At the end of the whole thing, I felt like I had a choice. I could decide I don't need to wear makeup ever again because my face is working and I feel so beautiful being able to express myself.
Great.
And that's all I need.
Yeah.
Or I could look at it like I feel so beautiful that now I can wear makeup because I'm celebrating that I feel like I have something to shine and to there's something that I'm proud of. Not that you can be proud of your looks because you get them from your parents, but you know how like when you get a haircut, you just feel good and you like want to like go out with your friends. Like I felt like when my face started working and I wasn't wanting to hide anymore, that suddenly I liked putting makeup on. So I didn't need it and I knew I didn't need it. So it wasn't coming from a place of I need to cover up. I need to look good so I can't go out without makeup. It wasn't that. It was I want to wear makeup because I feel so good about myself right now and excited and proud that I made it through this journey of, you know,
Absolutely,
talent.
absolutely. And I'll just make a tiny little parallel. So when I went through cancer and had my chemo, I lost my hair, right? And my hair, I mean, I loved my hair, right? So like, well, like I associated hair with beauty.
Hmm.
And so when I lost it, I was like, hey, well, what else about me is beautiful, right? And so I really
Right.
went inside, and it was like, okay, there's the joy, there's the beauty. It's here. And now that my hair's back, I don't take it for granted. I'm like,
Hmm.
hey, it can be curly, it can be straight. It's fun. It's almost like when you lose something and then it comes back, you just have this whole new sense of gratitude around it.
Hmm.
It's like you've gone on that journey and then you've come full circle, right? So that when it does come back, you're like, wow, I'm not going to take this for granted because it will go away again at some point,
Hmm.
you know, not
Well,
necessarily.
hopefully not my face.
Yeah, but I mean, just beauty in general, like just as
Yes.
we age with wrinkles and everything else.
Well, it doesn't go away. It changes, right? Because
Right,
you're
right.
beautiful at any age. It's just appreciating. I get, you know what? I get gray hair sometimes, and I love it. I get so excited. I call them my wisdom hairs.
Oh, beautiful.
Because I envision a day when my hair's, I want it to be all white. I want it the color of this wall. I don't want silver, but I want all white. And I just think like women who have that hair just look like the epitome of wisdom
Mm,
and grace. I love it.
so beautiful. Like lightness. Right?
Hmm.
I
And
cut my hair
wrinkles are your storylines, you know? Wrinkles are your stories. You don't want to erase those.
great. All right. I've got lots of stories and lots of light.
Hmm.
I call my gray hairs tinsel, like it's
Oh,
tinsel.
I like that.
I like it. It's sparkly. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. So again, I honor you for going through this hard circumstance, and you could have gone different ways. You could have just never left your house and just really felt sorry for yourself. You're like, this is the end of my career, but instead you chose a different path, cultivated strength, cultivated joy within you, and it brought you onto a new trajectory. And then it's beautiful that you did heal and that you ended up going back to Broadway and all of
Yeah,
that.
twice.
It's nice. And then, it's like you're stronger because of the challenge that you
Hmm.
had. And then you can bring that level of depth to your acting as well.
Absolutely. Yes. There's so much about my process when I'm performing a role that it has to do with, making it personal, making every character personal. How can I connect to this character through my own personal experiences and what I've been through? Um, so that plays a huge part of it. Yeah.
Love it. So I just love everything about this right now, including you, all of it. I love it. Thank you so much.
I love you
So
too.
powerful. It's inspiring. So let's bring it back to just real practically. How is it that you calm your anxiety, either during this time? Like, how did you calm your anxiety in the midst of that uncertainty?
Hmm.
Um, you didn't know if your face was going to heal that correctly. Let's start there. Actually, how did you calm that anxiety and able to move forward?
At the time, I did a lot of breathing techniques, and I did a lot of um, using sound waves as much as I could. And I tried to, I always believe that your physical body is always in communication with your energetic and emotional state. So you, I believed at the time that I had a higher chance of healing if I could connect to things that I liked and things that I enjoyed. So I had at the time I took a class in fire spinning because I had always been interested in it. So I took a class in learning how to spin poi, which is like these metal chains with balls of fire on them. And I did a lot of that. I also got a dog, and having that connection was very comforting, and having something to focus on outside of all of the personal stuff was good.
Mm,
Good for me.
beautiful. I want to really touch on what you just said when you were feeling those feelings of joy, like when you were throwing the toy or when you were loving up on your doggy. You said that those feelings of joy helped you recover.
I believe it. I believe it.
Body connection.
I believe that when you have experienced joy, your body is in a higher vibrational state because you're excited when you're excited in life and when you're happy in life, people dance, people get you have more energy to burn. If you
Yes.
think about a sad person, what are they doing? They're like this. They feel heavy, they don't want to move, they don't want to get off the couch. And I think that the more energy that you have, so, right, if you increase your energy level, then that extra energy can work towards healing the body.
Mm.
That's number one. Number two is if you have that higher energy level and you believe and you're happier, you're more likely to be optimistic, which means you're going to believe you're going to get better, which means you're going to have faith and patience, which means eventually you just know you're going to get better. And then there's the knowing versus the wondering and hoping. I think it actually affects. I don't know if it can affect whether you heal, but it probably affects how quickly you heal.
Mm. Sure. And, if you asked a medical doctor, they could talk about kind of the cascade effect, right?
Hmm.
So when you're feeling grateful or, you're releasing serotonin in the brain and then there's lower cortisol and then less inflammation. And yeah, so there absolutely is that mind body connection as well.
Hmm.
That's a big part of my book, actually, because yeah, so Lovey kept me in a even keeled, grateful state of mind that I'm sure was a big contributor to me being
Yeah.
cancer free now. Yay!
Yay! Yeah,
Yeah.
we actually talk a lot about these, how the breath affects the body in this wellness company that I'm doing now.
Yes.
So I am I am co-owner of a wellness company that's called Sancta Via, which translates to the way of the sanctuary, and it's it's a combination of physical training combined with meditation, performance psychology, breath work, nutrition. It's a very holistic approach to the body and to wellness. A lot of people in who think about training their body, they think that they're doing things to get fit. They think I need to go to my spin class, or I need to go running, or I need to do things to keep me fit. And the fitness industry can be a really dark place. It can be a place full of shame, and it's also very confusing for a lot of people who don't really understand how the body works and what muscles do. So what we've created with Sanctivia is more of like this holistic approach to wellness, and it's actually, it feels like a school. It feels like you're going to school to be learn how to be a mechanic on a car, but like that for your body. So like you understand what certain foods do. You understand how certain kinds of breathing techniques either excite you or relax you. You understand, um, how to be powerful in your day and have a really strong base boundaries so that you don't get pushed around. You understand how to connect to the things that you are excited about and how to be mindful about certain connections in your life, and then mindful of what you don't want to connect to in your life that might be bad for your energy and bad for your body. So we tie in a lot of a lot of philosophical concepts about how to be a powerful person in your life, but exploring that through strength in the body, exploring that through body weight training, mobility, or flexibility, exploring how to be comfortable on the floor, getting up and down from the floor, like things that are going to make your life easier and not just I need to break a sweat. You know, it's about how to make your how to like my mom was moving, furniture the other day, and I was like, this is what we do in Sanctivia. How do you know how your muscles work so you can engage them properly when you're doing something like moving furniture so you don't get hurt? We want to make it functional, and we want to make it applicable for your day-to-day life. So there's it's so cool because I have never in my life learned about any of this stuff when I've gone to the gym, when I've had a trainer in the past, and I've done yoga classes and I've done kickboxing classes and I've done so many things, but I've never in my life understood what this muscle does. You
Right.
know? And we're born with these muscles, but we don't know how they work. So I feel like we're creating this school that's really going to enlighten people about how to create strength in your body, and it's a longevity based art, so everything that we do is to make your life easier and make you age better.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So just like aging gracefully. Yeah,
hmm And
happy.
we have practitioners of all ages. Like we have 16-year-olds up to 65-year-olds, and they're all doing the same exercises, but there's, different forms to make it easier or harder depending on where you're at. So it really is accessible for everybody.
Yes. This is so exciting. I love it.
Yeah.
So would you like to share one of your breathing exercises?
Sure. Yeah. So one of the things that we do in Sanctivia is it's called box breathing, and a lot of people might have heard this box breathing before, where you think about the inhalation and the exhalation as the same counts, and you think about holding the breath at the top of the inhalation and holding the breath at the bottom of the exhalation for the same count. So, for example, you'll breathe in for a count of 4, hold the breath for 4, breathe out for 4, hold the breath for 4, and you can continue doing that. Um, there are a couple things to think about is what's your goal? Is your goal to relax your body, or is your goal to wake up your body? Because the different breathing techniques have a different reaction with your nervous system, which you probably talk about in your book too, the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. So if you focus on a longer exhalation, it's going to get you into a relaxed state, rest and digest state, if your exhalation is longer than your inhalation. On the inverse, if your inhalation is longer than your exhalation, it's going to automatically trigger a fight or flight or excited state. So the box breathing is something that is really cool for if you have anxiety, if I'm about to go on stage, or if I have an audition and I need to focus and you're in a high stakes environment. You need to focus and you need to relax. So you do 4 counts, hold the breath for 4, exhale for 4, hold the breath for 4. Now, there's one thing I would add to that, which is when you're holding the breath after your inhalation,
Mhm.
you can give yourself a little mantra in your head that you say while you're holding your breath.
Ooh.
So, this one is actually from there was a guy who was in the military and I don't know if he's a sergeant or a Navy SEAL or what he does, but he came up with this phrase and it's feeling good, looking good, ought to be in Hollywood. And you say that in that 4 count hold, and it just gets you going like, oh yeah, I got this. Whatever it is, I got this. And it makes you actually feel confident and focused and relaxed. So, you want to try it with me?
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
So, we're going to breathe in for 4.
Okay.
On the hold for 4, I want you to think that in your head. Feeling good, looking good, ought to be in Hollywood. And then exhale for 4. Hold the breath and we'll repeat. Okay?
Okay, so you say the mantra only on when you're holding the breath in. Okay,
After the
got
inhalation. Mm-hmm. And you
I'm
say it
ready.
silently in your head.
Hopefully this will bring you back to LA.
Navy SEAL
Oh,
commander.
Mark Devine is the one. He's a Navy SEAL commander, and he came up with that phrase.
Oh,
Feeling
okay.
good, looking good, ought to be in Hollywood. And it actually fits that 4 count hold really well.
All
Okay,
right, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
It's hard not to laugh, though.
I know, but it's good for you. I mean, laughing's good for you too.
Yeah,
Um,
I
but
sense a little perk of
you
confidence
feel
right there.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. And you want to try to breathe in fully. So, like, have that
yeah,
4 count be fully inhaled and then holding the breath and then fully exhaled by the end of 4 and then holding the breath. So, that box breath is super helpful for
oh, it's so
anytime
great.
you feel anxiety or stress.
Oh, it's so, so great because I've done the box breath millions of times, but adding that mantra, like adding the levity, the joy, the laughter, like the kind of swagger, like
Yes, swagger. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
hey, the little like even little sexiness, you know?
Mm-hmm. Navy
Hey, why
SEAL.
not
Yeah.
add that to your that also reduces my anxiety big time. Just
Yeah.
have a good laugh. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
combining those two things.
You're welcome.
Like wellness doesn't have to be so serious. Right?
Wellness does not have to be serious. This is one thing that we're really doing with Sanctavia too. We're learning so much about the body. We're getting ourselves strong in our life, but that doesn't mean you can't be silly. You can't have fun. It's all, I mean,
Exactly.
smiling and laughter is going to increase your immunity. It's going to increase your longevity too, and that's what we're about.
That's right. I love it. I love it. And I love all your jokes, by the way. I love how you do
Mm.
little videos of jokes.
I love dad jokes. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Like rated PG jokes, which is
Yes, yes.
smiling. And so I have a very special thing for the audience, and I personally asked Arielle if she would sing for us, and she said yes.
I will. I will sing something very short and sweet
Okay.
because
Yeah.
my favorite movie growing up was The Wizard of Oz. So this is one of my favorites, and it's a classic that everybody knows. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh why can't I?
Yay! Standing ovation.
Thank
Woo-hoo!
you.
I brought tears to my eyes, sweetheart. Thank you. Thank you. And what a gift that was for everyone watching. I mean, just listening to your beautiful voice calms anyone's anxiety.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And also, just so everyone knows, um, Arielle has her own um, solo album. It's released through Broadway Records. It's called A Leap in the Dark. We want
Mm-hmm.
more of her precious vocals. A Leap in the Dark. You can find it on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, absolutely sign up for her newsletter with sanctavia.com. And I'll write that down in the notes here. So, sweet, sweet friend, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time and sharing your wisdom and your beautiful voice. We've all just benefited so much, and really a gift to the world.
Thank you. And thank you for doing this and sharing this week-long seminar for everyone to find these tips because we all could use them. And you're such a light. I am so excited for your new book to come out. Yay!
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. All right, take care.
Bye.